debate, the budget line we are considering, I heard somebody in the gallery talking about my standing up to debate. And I could hear somebody saying it's too much. Mr. Chairman, from the onset, I wish to state clearly here that we all came here to represent people. We didn't just come here to listen to people talking. We came here to talk on behalf of the people that are affected by these issues that we are discussing. Mr. Chairman, from the outset, I wish to state the facts the way they are, that labor issues are such important issues in the fact that labor is one of the critical, if anything, one of the factors of production. And that being the case, my debate will delve into relating labor issues to the performance of the economy. And every aspect of what I will debate will be related to the status of the economy as at now, just to contextualize it so that we have a better understanding of the importance of this budget line. To start with, I wish to make comments on the minimum wage, which to me was done for political expedience. It is one thing to declare a minimum wage, and it is another to achieve the objectives of that declaration. In reality, Mr. Chairman, if we go around institutions and companies, especially those that are not formally configured, the minimum wage is just a story, and it just sits on paper. And it is worsened by the fact that our own inspectors have limitations, and they don't even have the necessary resources to go and inspect each and every institution in this country that is involved in whatever kind of business in order to ensure that this is enforced. The reason why I feel that the minimum wage was just declared for political expedience is that the economy in itself is not performing very well. The would-be employers, if anything, the employers at the moment are struggling to pay at that rate. So it is one thing to declare a minimum wage, and it is another to afford it. Therefore, if we announce the minimum wage and the people are actually not benefiting from it, what is it there for, apart from it being there for political expedience? Therefore, it is very important to work on the economy. First things first, Mr. Chairman. Let's work on the economy. Let the economy boom. Then everyone will have money. When they have money, they can afford to pay that minimum wage. And if anything, they can even pay higher than that. Other than the chipante-pante kind of governing of the PF, where they just wake up today and mention a figure that employers should now pay at this minimum wage. That we shall not accept, and that will not cover people's eyes, because we have eyes to see and we have brains to think and to understand that this is just for political expedience. Moving away from the minimum wage, Mr. Chairman, I wish to move to the social protection. It's a very serious issue here, and I do agree with the previous debater, the Honorable Member for Katombora. He did say a lot about the social protection, especially around the National Pension Scheme Authority, the Public Service Pension Fund, and the local authorities' superannuation funds. These are the major pension schemes that we have in the country. And I'm aware that the NAPSA Act of 2000, if I'm not mistaken, does actually empower institutions, including government institutions, for everyone to be, who was recruited from 2000 onwards, to be on a pension scheme, the NAPSA scheme. That, Mr. Chairman, has not yet been achieved. We still have workers in the public service, some who are still contributing to public service pension fund, which is highly underperforming, and others who are contributing to NAPSA. This Minister of Labor, and I'm glad the Minister of Finance is here in the House, this must be harmonized. Let us have a clear social security system where people's pensions are well defined. That actually leads me to the point I wanted to make concerning social security. Government has been the major culprit in non-remittance of statutory obligations. The Public Service Pensions Fund is struggling because government has not remitted the monies that they deduct from the workers that it has employed. How else do you expect the Public Service Pensions Fund to meet the obligation of paying lump sum payments? In any case, I do understand that it is government's position to ensure that all move towards pension scheme, where people will no longer be subjected to getting lump sum payments, but a monthly pension payment as they qualify under NAPSA, save for those who are in the defense forces. I'm aware about this. However, the pace at which we are implementing these reforms is our concern. Minister of Labor, you represent the people. The people's interests need to be taken care of. Those people who are erroneously on the Public Service Pensions Fund that were recruited after the year 2000, what are we going to do about it? What are you doing about it? Because the law says those should be under NAPSA. And therefore, if they are under the Public Service Pension Fund, they will be entitled to lump sum payments, which we are struggling, and you, as a government, are failing to remit in terms of their contributions to the Public Service Pensions Fund. How else do you expect this fund to invest and assure those contributors that they will get their money with a return? Moving away from that, I wish to talk about unemployment. The unemployment levels in this country have reached an alarming levels. That's the reason to why you have seen when somebody is actually sandwiched into a situation that is critical, they look for ways of survival. And that's the reason to why you are seeing these youths, some of them now coming up with ideas of, under the name of PF cadres, collecting revenue from bus drivers, collecting revenue from marketeers, and the people who are struggling to do business. This is a total indication of a failure of a failing government. If you can't create employment in a country, or when unemployment is on the increase, it is one of the indicators of a failing economy. Scholars of economics will tell you that unemployment is a critical indicator of a melting economy. This economy is not going anywhere with this level of unemployment. So I implore the government to create employment and sustainable employment other than those casual workers through the corrupt road construction, where Chinese are actually cheating our people with very little wages. That we shall not buy. If you have failed, please declare your failure. We will come in and govern the country in a better way. Mr. Chairman, on the local scene, I want to comment about employment of our local people. You understand there is a booming of the mining industry in Northwestern, and my colleague, the Honorable Member for Solwezi Central, Honorable Mulusa, did mention about this. Our people from that area where the wealth is coming from need to be employed in those institutions. We need to see deliberate programs from the Ministry of Labor where our people are given a priority in terms of opportunities to be employed in those mines which are sitting in our area. That I needed to stress. We need to see a deliberate program to empower the locals in that area. Employment in the public sector, Mr. Chairman, has really suffered. Year in, year out, we have teachers completing training, nurses completing training. These are every year adding to the list of the unemployed. What is the executive doing about it? Because these are trained people, they have skills, and they are ready to be employed. However, the buck stops with the executive in how they are managing this economy. The economy is not doing well. That's the reason why they are struggling to employ these people. We can have 10,000 teachers trained in this country, but the government will come with maybe pottery 2,000 to employ. What have we done? If 8,000 are still roaming the streets and failing to make ends meet, then you are still proud of governing the country? Who do you stand for? Mr. Chair, lastly, I wish to talk about the policies around employment of expatriates. There are certain skills, Mr. Chairman, which do not need expatriates. For instance, the accountants. I've seen accountant expatriates around. But go to Zika, you will find several accountants that have been trained in this country. We cannot afford to have skills that Zambians have being taken over by foreigners in terms of employment. It comes back again to the Ministry of Labor. How much have they been empowered to take critical inspections in these business houses to ensure that the people that have been employed are people that deserve to actually work in here? Even the immigration office, I think the immigration office needs to be checked in terms of how they implement these policies around giving work permits to expatriates. Engineers, Wunza is producing engineers, several engineers. Even CBU has been producing engineers. We do not need most of those expatriate engineers that are coming in only to supervise paving of roads. We need to have clear policies, and not just clear policies. The policies must be monitored to benefit our people. Mr. Chairman, on that note, I wish to conclude that the people of Zambezi East want to see a more organized Ministry of Labor and Social Security for their benefit. Mr. Chairman, I thank you.